Hey, everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Right.
Today, we're diving into something that might just totally flip your script on how churches are run.
Okay.
We're talking about outsourcing. But hold on, it's not just like your typical run-of-the-mill stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking roles that you might never in a million years have thought to contract out to somebody else. Sound interesting?
Definitely.
So our trusty guide for this deep dive is this piece by Swebb.
Okay.
It's called 5 Things I Think Churches Should Not Hire on Staff, but Contract.
All right.
So let's just jump right in with the first one on Swebb's list, which is graphic designers.
All right.
They made this really compelling case for churches tapping into design firms because it's so much more cost effective and you get so much more creativity and diversity.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, Swebb is definitely onto something when you think about it.
Okay.
Because design firms get exposed to way more styles and trends than one person could ever. Just because they work with so many different types of clients. But I think the real kicker is that they bring an outsider's perspective.
Okay.
They can look at your branding and see it with fresh eyes and help you connect with folks in ways you never even thought about.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
But wouldn't the church lose something by not having a designer?
Oh, yeah.
It's deeply embedded in their community.
Total.
Someone who gets their culture and values firsthand.
Right.
How do you think you balance that need for a connection with the professional expertise?
Well, you don't want to lose that sense of shared purpose, for sure.
Right.
But a good firm will really take the time to understand your church's vision and mission.
Okay.
They'll work with you not as just some random vendor, but as a partner.
Okay, let's move on to something that's a little less visual, but just as important.
All right.
And that's sound. Swebb is all about hiring professional sound techs on a gig basis.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, honestly, who hasn't been to an event where the sound was just a total disaster? I remember one time I was at this wedding and...
Oh, gosh.
Oh, it was bad.
Yeah, and that's Swebb's point.
That's exactly it.
A pro just brings this level of expertise.
Right.
That transforms the whole experience.
It's true.
Imagine this, right? You're hosting this packed Easter service.
Okay.
The message is powerful. The music is soaring.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom, the microphone cuts out.
Oh, no.
But with a pro, they wouldn't just fix it quickly.
Right.
They'd have backup equipment ready to go.
Exactly.
So it's a seamless experience for everybody.
Totally.
And it's not just about avoiding those disasters.
Yeah.
But it's about enhancing that message.
For sure.
And creating an environment where people can really connect with what's being said. So do you think this only applies to bigger churches with bigger budgets?
Big question.
Or can smaller congregations benefit from this too? That's the awesome thing about this whole gig economy.
Yeah.
It really levels the playing field for churches.
Yeah.
Even if you can't afford to have a sound person on staff full time,
Yeah.
you can still get access to really amazing professional services when you need them.
Got it.
So you're not limited by your budget or your size.
Okay. So on to number 3.
All right.
The marketing and messaging strategist. Swebb has this really great line about this one.
Who's that?
They say, no, your worship leader isn't automatically qualified to do creative things. Ouch.
Yeah.
But also kind of true.
Yeah.
What do you think about the difference between being a talented artist
Right.
and being a skilled communicator in this digital world that we live in?
Yeah, it's a huge difference. You can have the best music ever, the most stunning visuals you can imagine.
Right.
But if your message isn't clear, it's just going to get lost.
Right.
Think about your own experience. You're scrolling through social media. You're just bombarded with information and then something catches your eye. What made you stop and pay attention to that?
I think for me, it's authenticity and clarity.
Yeah.
If I can tell that the message is coming from a real place and it speaks to my needs and interests,
Okay.
then I'm way more likely to engage with it.
Exactly. And that's where a marketing strategist comes in.
Okay.
They help you craft a message that resonates with your audience.
Yeah.
So your church's voice can be heard.
So this next one is probably going to be the most controversial out of all of them.
Okay.
Swebb says outsource the bookkeeper and the director of finance roles. I can already hear some folks saying, but we're a church. We can't just hand over our money to some outside firm.
Right.
What would you say to those people who are hesitant about that idea?
I totally get the hesitation,
Yeah.
but let's break this down, you know?
Well,
First
clearly.
of all, an external firm brings this objectivity and expertise
Yeah,
that can
yeah.
be super valuable. They're not swayed by like church politics or anything
Right.
or personal relationships.
Yeah.
They're really just focused on managing the money responsibly and ethically.
Okay, so you're making a strong case for outsourcing the finances.
Mm-hmm.
But wouldn't that create like a distance
Mm-hmm.
between the church and the people who are supporting it financially?
Yeah.
How do you keep things transparent
Right.
and accountable
Yeah.
when you're working with an outside firm?
Well, that's where good communication and reporting comes in.
Okay.
A good firm will work really closely with you
Yeah.
to make sure you totally understand your finances.
Okay.
They'll give you detailed reports and be there to answer any questions you've got.
Got it.
And this can actually like increase trust with the congregation
And
because they'll see their money is being managed well.
Okay, so last but not least, we have development.
All right.
Swebb makes this distinction between a true development expert and someone who's just like good at managing things. Can you tell me a little bit more about like what a development expert actually does
Sure.
and how they can help a church thrive?
So think of a development expert as like a strategic architect for growth. They analyze the church's strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
They look for potential in your community, and then they create like a roadmap for reaching new people
Okay.
and deepening engagement with your current members.
Yeah.
They'll challenge you to think outside the box
Okay.
and help you come up with a plan for long-term growth.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about this question.
Okay.
Why do some churches with development roles still struggle to grow? You know, if they have someone who's dedicated to growth, shouldn't they be seeing results?
It's not like a magic bullet.
Yeah.
You know, a development expert can give you the tools and strategies, but growth really has to come from inside the church.
Okay.
It takes a willingness to adapt,
Right.
embrace new ideas, and get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Sometimes the biggest thing holding us back from growth is ourselves.
Right.
You know, like being resistant to change.
So what does all of this mean for you listening out there?
Yeah.
We just took this deep dive into Swebb's ideas about church staffing,
Yeah,
and it's pretty clear that they're challenging the status quo.
they really are.
Is your church ready to try new ways of doing things? Are you open to outsourcing even in areas you haven't thought of before?
That's a good question to ask.
It is.
You know, if Swedd is right, this is how churches are going to adapt to the world changing so fast.
Right.
It's about knowing that sometimes the best way to grow is to bring in some outside expertise.
Here's a final thought for you as you go about your day. Think about your church.
Okay.
Think about its needs.
Yeah.
What roles could benefit from an outside perspective? Could outsourcing be the key to unlocking new levels of creativity, efficiency, and impact? Keep diving deep, my friends, and see where it leads you. See you next time.